The sun was rising over Heathrow Airport, casting golden light across the terminal windows. People hurried past with luggage, boarding passes in hand, chasing flights and dreams. Among the crowd walked Maya Thompson, a woman in her early 30s with tired eyes and a worn leather jacket. She clutched her ticket for Flight 602 to Boston like it weighed a ton. She hadn't stepped on a plane in 3 years. Not since the accident. Not since the day everything changed. Flight attendants smiled as passengers boarded the aircraft, unaware that Maya's heart was pounding. She paused at the entrance, staring down the narrow aisle, a wave of panic rising in her chest. Her friend Clara whispered, "You okay?" Maya forced a smile. "I said I'd never fly again," she muttered. She found her seat, row 18, window. As the engines roared to life, memories attacked like lightning: the burning cockpit, the emergency alarms, the faces she couldn't save. Maya wasn't just any passenger. She was once a pilot, a brilliant one. Until the crash. She closed her eyes, whispering to herself, "I can't fly again." Outside, the sky was clear. Inside, a storm was brewing. Midway over the Atlantic, the Serenity shattered. A sharp jolt shook the aircraft. Passengers gasped, drinks spilled. The captain's voice came over the intercom, trembling. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing unexpected turbulence. Please stay seated." The plane shuddered violently. Lightning cracked across the sky. Oxygen masks dropped. Screams echoed. Maya's hands gripped the armrests. She wasn't just scared, she knew exactly what was happening. Years of training made her read the instruments from afar. This wasn't simple turbulence. Something was wrong. Flight attendants rushed toward the cockpit. One stumbled, pale, whispering frantically into a radio. Clara turned to Maya. "Why are they panicking?" Maya shook her head, heart racing. She tried to shut it out. She wasn't that person anymore. She had sworn never to step into a cockpit again. The crash had broken her. Then the captain's voice returned, cracking with fear. "If there are any trained pilots on board, please come forward immediately." Every head turned. A silence heavier than the storm filled the cabin. Clara looked at Maya, eyes wide. "Maya, you have to." Maya stared down, trembling. "I can't." But fate was already calling. The cockpit door opened, and Maya found herself standing there. She didn't remember making the decision. Only Clara's hand squeezing hers and the desperate eyes of passengers burned into her mind. Inside, the scene was chaos. The co-pilot was unconscious, oxygen mask askew. The captain was drenched in sweat, his hands shaking on the controls. Red warning lights painted the cabin like a nightmare. "We've lost autopilot," the captain said hoarsely. "Hydraulics are unstable. If I pass out too..." Maya stepped forward, her instincts overriding fear. She checked the panel, eyes scanning the instruments like muscle memory. "I can help," she whispered. The captain stared at her. "Who are you?" "Maya Thompson. Commercial pilot. Retired," she replied. Her voice shook at first, then grew firmer. "Let me in." She slid into the co-pilot's seat, hands brushing familiar controls she once swore she'd never touch again. Outside, lightning illuminated the storm clouds. Something inside Maya reawakened. For 3 years she'd run from this moment. Now it was here. Minutes bled into seconds. The storm roared like a living beast. Maya guided the plane through violent air currents, fighting turbulence with surgical precision. Every movement was deliberate, sharp, controlled. In the cabin, panic slowly gave way to awe. Passengers whispered to each other, watching the woman in row 18 become their lifeline. Clara held her breath, tears streaming down her face. The captain, regaining composure, looked at Maya. "You're doing this like you never left." Maya didn't respond. She was locked in, heart pounding, mind clear, every sense tuned to the storm. Then came another blow, fuel levels critical, and a navigation error flashed on the screen. They were off course, and fast. Maya adjusted the heading, sweat dripping down her temples. We need to find a runway. Now. Air traffic control crackled through the radio. Flight 602, we've cleared a coastal base for emergency landing. Runway lights on. You're running out of time. Maya tightened her grip on the controls. Not today, she muttered. The descent was a battle between machine and storm. Crosswinds hammered the aircraft, lightning flashed like artillery fire, and alarms wailed. Maya guided the plane lower, her face lit by flashing cockpit lights. She was no longer the broken woman who boarded this flight. She was a pilot again. The runway appeared through the storm, small, wet, and unforgiving. Brace! Maya shouted as the wheels hit the tarmac hard, bouncing once, twice. Screams filled the cabin. She wrestled the controls, using every ounce of her skill. Reverse thrusters roared, the plane skidded, sparks flying from the landing gear. Finally, mercifully, it slowed. Stopped. Silence. Then an eruption of applause, tears, and relief. The captain turned to her, eyes glistening. You just saved 280 lives. Maya exhaled shakily. No, she whispered. They saved me. On the runway, under pouring rain and flashing emergency lights, passengers exited in stunned silence. Some cried. Some hugged strangers. Maya stepped out last, her hair soaked, her jacket heavy with rain. Clara ran to her and hugged her tightly. For years, Maya carried guilt like chains. She believed the sky had taken everything from her. But tonight, in the heart of the storm, she took it back. A little girl ran up to her, holding a teddy bear. You were brave, she said softly. Maya knelt, tears mixing with rain. No, sweetheart. I was finally me again. She stood, looking at the dark sky she once feared. This time, she didn't turn away.